All right, so today we're tackling something a lot of us deal with, social anxiety. But we're not just going to talk about the feeling. We're going to dive deep into the biology behind it. We'll break down a specific protocol, a natural path, really, that taps into one of your brain's most powerful chemicals to get you back to a state of, well, calm confidence. So, does that sound familiar? If it does, trust me, you are so not alone. That racing heart, the chest tightening up, all those mental gymnastics trying to plan every single word you're going to say, yeah, it's a real struggle. But here's a thought. What if it's not some kind of personality flaw? What if it's actually a biological battle happening inside your head? Okay, so to figure out the solution, we've got to understand the problem first, right? So let's take a look inside the anxious brain and meet the two main players in this whole internal conflict. All right, first up, we've got the amygdala. Now, think of this little guy as your brain's super sensitive smoke detector. Its only job is to scream, danger, danger, when it thinks there's a threat. And for social anxiety, the problem is this detector is just way too sensitive. It starts freaking out over a simple conversation or walking into a room full of people, treating it like it's a life or death situation. And boom, your whole system gets flooded with these fear signals. Okay, so who's supposed to deal with that alarm? That's player number two, the prefrontal cortex. This is the logical, rational part of your brain. It's the firefighter who's supposed to run in, see the smoke, and calmly say, everybody relax, it's just burnt toast. But in an anxious brain, that firefighter is just completely overwhelmed. The alarm from the amygdala is just blaring way too loud, and it can't get that message through that everything's okay. So what you've got at a biological level is a full-on power struggle. Your instinctual fear center is just shouting down the logical, rational part of your brain. Now, the goal here isn't to get rid of that fear response completely. I mean, we need it to survive, right? It's all about bringing those two things back into balance. Which brings us to the big question. How do we fix this? If it's a battle of brain signals, how do we turn down the volume on that screaming alarm? Well, the answer lies with a little something called GABA, and this is the key to getting that balance back. So GABA, the easiest way to think about it is like this. It's your brain's brake pedal. You've got accelerators, right? Things like adrenaline that speed everything up. Well, GABA is the opposite. It tells all your nerve cells to just slow down, take a breath, relax. And when that amygdala is going crazy, it's usually because there just isn't enough GABA activity to hit the brakes. So how do we get those brakes to work a little better? Well, the protocol we're looking at today focuses on two specific compounds. First up is Kava. It's a root extract, and what it does is basically help that GABA brake pedal make a better connection. It makes it more effective. Then there's phenobut. It also stimulates GABA, but it does something else cool. It boosts your alpha brainwaves. Now, alpha waves are what your brain produces when you're in a state of calm, relaxed focus. You know, that in-the-zone feeling. And listen, this is a really important point. The goal here is not to feel sedated or drowsy or just kind of checked out. It's the exact opposite, actually. The goal is to be more present, more clear-headed, more confidently you, because you've turned down all that internal noise and those fear signals. We're talking about clarity here, not a fog. Yeah, this whole idea of a clearer calm is what makes this approach so different. And a quick comparison really shows you what that means in the real world. So take a look at this. On one hand, you have something like benzodiazepines. They definitely reduce anxiety, but they can sometimes come with that brain fog, you know? They can impair your thinking a bit. The whole point of using Kava, on the other hand, is to get that anxiety relief without that trade-off. The idea is you can feel calm, but also stay sharp and totally engaged. Okay, before we go a single step further, we absolutely have to talk about safety. Seriously, this is probably the most critical part of this whole explainer. When you're dealing with powerful brain chemistry, you have to be smart and you have to be cautious. So please listen up. Let's be crystal clear on this. First thing, never, and I mean never, combine these compounds with any prescription anti-anxiety meds. That can be incredibly dangerous. Always talk to a doctor. Second thing, phenobut is powerful stuff, and you have to respect it. The source material couldn't be clearer on this. It must be used infrequently. We're talking no more than once or twice a week, max. This is to avoid building up a tolerance or worse, a dependence. Responsible use is everything. So there you have it. We've looked at that internal battle in the brain and the GABA key that can help bring things back into balance. Look, this isn't some magic pill. It's about understanding the mechanics of what's actually happening inside your own head. And that's the real takeaway here. Once you understand your own brain chemistry, you can start working with it instead of feeling like you're constantly fighting against it. Which just leaves one big question, right? Now that you understand the key, how are you going to unlock your brain's full potential for that natural confidence?